Pace car will make its way off of the racetrack, putting the field back in the hands of Woodside. 15 of Brandon Davis will start on the outside. Brandon holds the late model track record here. Green flag back in the air. Woodside shoots out front once again. Problems behind him. The 4 of Sean Bennett gets turned around, as well as now the 44, and you're seeing the 65 spin around of George Atkinson Jr.
Several cars involved in that. I thought we had a pretty clean start going.
Chris Holloway in the 44 has damage on his race car. George Atkinson Jr., you see the damage to the front of that race car. Double file restarts are difficult.
They sure are, and had trouble with this one. They sure make it exciting, though. A lot of damage there.
Yeah, we saw Sean Bennett sideways as he was going into turn 1. Chris Holloway was behind him. But look at the damage to that race car.
Yeah, I think I saw the radiator busted on this 44 car. That'll pretty much be terminal. See if we can get another look. Look, they were already sideways. They were 3 wide going down into turn number 1. And I believe it was Sean Bennett's car, the 4 car, that was sideways first. You see him right there sideways with a little bit of contact from the 56 car.
Dylan Lupton up in the 56 car out of Wilton, California, was pushing that number 4 sideways into turn number 1.
This racetrack is so wide, so inviting. There's a 4 right there middle. They're going to make it 4 wide for just a moment, and it did not work.
Dylan Lupton got into the left rear of the 4 car of Sean Bennett. He got sideways, and that.
Let's take another look at the start here. You see the car jump down to the bottom to make it 3 wide. I believe that's the 90 of Tony McRae. Typically, you're not allowed to pass to the left before you get to the start finish line. Looked like she had pulled down there. Then when they got down to the corner, they were 4 wide. They just ran out of room. Jonathan Gomez, who just made a pit stop, got a piece of that as well.
Unfortunate incident on our first restart. Woodside and Davis were out in front. No problems between the 2 of them.
We talked about Tony McRae and the 90 passing before they got to the start. We're hearing the NASCAR officials are going to black flag her for passing before the start.
Double file restarts, they say you have to hold your position until the start finish line. Once you get to the start finish line, then you can start fighting for position.
Sometimes you'll have a car that'll spin the tires and really miss a gear, not get going, and it's so tempting to drive down there underneath. Let's take another look. See, about the 8th row back is Tony. They get a little bit bottled up there. She just has some momentum. She actually passed the 44 car and was beside the 56. More than likely, those drivers weren't aware that she was there.
Dick Berggren.
Well, Chris Holloway, your car is all bent up. Winner here last year actually now, but what did that thing look like from behind the wheel?
I just saw a lot of mess. I saw the 4 car turn around right in front of me. I had nowhere to go. Normally I'm pretty good at missing these wrecks, but I just got caught up. Guy missed a shift on the restart, and we just couldn't get going. It got all boggled up, and I just want to thank 4-Star Fruit, Byron Campbell for helping me this weekend, Mike Key, my crew chief. I wish we could have done better, but we had a real fast race car until that happened. We're going to go right to the front.
Thank you.
Such a tough break for these drivers. I mean, they wait for this event. It's such a big event for all 3 of the series, the super late models, the late models, as well as the K&N series. And then to have it taken away in the first 15 or 20 laps, it's just heartbreaking.
In so quickly. You see so much damage. There's a lot of sheet metal missing from the 65 of George Atkinson Jr.'s race car. They're working to try to make sure nothing falls off of that car if they let them back out onto the racetrack. They'll go back to double file. Giving them 1 to go, and we'll go back to racing. Completed 18 laps of the 50 scheduled. Sean Woodside, after winning the first qualifying race earlier this afternoon, start up front.
He sure made that inside line work well on that restart just a few moments ago.
not having to use the banking that is afforded him on the high side of the racetrack.
Brandon Davis, the 15 car, will start on the outside of the front row.
George Atkinson Jr. coming out back onto the racetrack with his modified late model. Coming out of turn number 4. Green flag back in the air.
Another great start by Sean Woodside.
They say 2 by 2 across the stripe and now begin battling for position.
Now Nick Janitis pulls up side by side with Brandon Davis in a battle for second.
Behind them, the 50 of Tim Huddleston. He was the winner of this event a year ago, looking to defend his title.
Tim Huddleston in the 50 and Brandon Davis in the 15 are actually teammates. Janitis pulls out to the outside to take over the second spot. And Davis said, no, I'm going to give it another try on the bottom.
Looks to the inside, trying to hold on to that second spot, but Janitis takes it on the high side of the racetrack. Now Woodside way up the racetrack. That's what we saw a lot of last night. We see Davis ducking back down, trying to take that spot away, and problems for the 4 now. Sean Bennett blows up, and the caution will come out again. You see the fluid trailing behind that 4.
I have to believe that was probably related to that most recent incident we had. Probably had a busted oil line or something like that. Tough break.
And climbing out of that race car is Sean Bennett. So
Emergency
the safety
crew right there.
Take care of him. This is what happened. Just entering turn number 1, the engine expires.
And that could have been caused by a broken oil line or something like that. Ran that car out of oil and unfortunately went up in flames.
And remember, on the last restart, that car was sideways, so potentially backwards and potentially doing damage to the motor. And it expires, so the 4 of Sean Bennett will be out of this one. Sean Woodside out front, though. Live on Speed, get fired up for the duel. The new faster Daytona surface will test NASCAR's best. Hold on for 2 action-packed races that set the field for the Daytona 500. The Gatorade Duel at Daytona, live February 17th, 2 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed.
Talking about a different dynamic now at Daytona with that new paving job, first one in over 30 years. They're talking about that race being wild.
A lot of grip. We're under a red flag condition, and that because the 4 of Sean Bennett blew up on the racetrack. Some fluid was spilled going into turn number 1. And so the safety crews are out there making sure that the racing condition is safe for all the drivers.
This short race, this 50-lap race, you don't want these drivers to drive around 10 laps under caution while they clean the racetrack up.
We just saw the 4 pass by, and now you'll see the smoke rolling out.
Pretty considerable blow up there, it looked like.
And Sean Bennett was quick to get off the racetrack and out of the groove. We've had some incidents already in this race, and we'll take a look back at how it all began. That's the 88 of Dylan Hutchison. Early on, gets into the back wall. Then Sean Bennett in the 4 sideways.
Right after a restart.
Contact.
4 wide going in turn number 1. That didn't work out too well.
Dylan Lufton right over the front left quarter panel, and then you see the 4 of Sean Bennett on fire after the engine explodes going into turn number 1. So the track getting cleaned up. We'll be back for more racing action. Drivers anticipating what's coming up next. The NASCAR Toyota All-Star Showdown. Immediately following the late model race, they'll be climbing into their cars momentarily, getting ready. Probably the biggest story coming in is the 99 of Travis Pastrana. He'll be making his NASCAR debut tonight right here on Speed. Derek Thorne won the pole yesterday. Sure, he's ready to climb in and take to the racetrack. He and Greg Pursley will lead the field to the green flag tonight. We heard from Sean Case last night. He said he was leaving here with the trophy.
He's going to start third.
He starts third.
Has a great race car.
Back under a yellow flag condition. The car's rolling once again after they've got the fluid cleaned up off the racetrack.
You know, Rick, we talk about this being a ladder system. Derek Thorne, our pole sitter, finished 4th last year in the super late model race. So that's how it happens. You impress somebody in one of these weekly racing series races, and then you get an opportunity to move up.
Trying to make the most of that opportunity tonight. Free pass was given to the 56 of Dylan Lupton, so he'll tack on to the back of the field. And the pace car about to leave the racetrack. Again, it's Woodside and Janitas, 1 and 2, making up row number 1. Brandon Davis now back into the 3rd spot. Huddleston in 4th. Again, teammates, the 15 and the 50. Coming out of turn 4, green flag back in the air. Woodside with another good restart.
Tried to get Janitas up the hill. Janitas hanging in there, trying to keep that left front fender next to his quarter panel. He's able to do it.
3 and 4 wide back there for the 10th position. Sean Woodside. Nick Janitas coming out of turn 4. Woodside still with the advantage, but a half car length is all it is.
Hasn't been able to clear Janitas yet.
Woodside with a good 1 and 2, now able to get by Janitas to hold on to that top spot. Nick Janitas trailing right behind him in his tire tracks.
Teammates side by side. Brendan Davis, the 15 on the inside. Huddleston, the 50 on the outside.
Jim Huddleston again won this event a year ago, but right now on the outside looking in. Sean Woodside out front. Coming up on 20 laps of racing to go.
Matthew Hicks in the 16 car has moved all the way from a 10th place starting position up there right now, battling Huddleston for the 4th spot.
Hicks in the 16.
Mike Johnson, the 17 right now, being shown in the 6th spot. That's him with all 4 wheels way down below the white line.
And here comes Nick Janitas in the 30. A great run through 3 and 4, put him just beside Sean Woodside. Now down the back stretch they go. Janitas trying to get by that 45 of Sean Woodside.
I remember last night Janitas talking about watching those guys use up their tires down on the bottom of the racetrack. He has no choice but to do it. He has to drive down there to try to get by Woodside.
Woodside run in the middle of the racetrack. Janitas still keeping that right front fender right on the left rear quarter panel of Sean Woodside. A great battle for the lead as they come out of turn number 4.
Woodside car looks a little bit loose up off the corner, especially up off of 2.
Now Nick Janitas runs a little bit higher, right behind the 45 of Woodside. Still behind him, Brandon Davis in the 15, and Huddleston in the 50, running 4th.
Mike Johnson's been able to get by the 16 car Hicks to take over the 5th spot.
Johnson won this event in 2008. Nick Janitas running in the 2nd spot. Again, last night also running in the super late model, had an engine expire on that race car 24 hours ago. And now a good battle up front. Here's a good battle for 6th and 7th. The 11 of Kyle McGrady and the 62 of Darren Cheek. 7th and 8th. Battle for the 7th position. A lot of damage to the hood of that 62 of Cheek. McGrady on the bottom of the racetrack trying to take the position as they come out of 4.
That's what this racetrack is known for, that good side-by-side racing. A little bit flatter down there in the bottom. A little bit of debris on the racetrack.
Debris as they go into turn number 3.
14 laps to go.
Yep, avoiding it at this point. These two still battling for that 7th spot. And the caution comes out. Sure, they'll want to clean up the debris going into turn number 3.
Yeah, I don't see anything else on the racetrack, so the NASCAR officials felt like they needed to go out and get that debris, and I totally agree with them.
We had cars running to the lower side of the racetrack to avoid that, and also on the high side. Normally, if debris is not in the racing groove, they will let them continue to race, but it looks like this might affect the lines that these drivers were trying to take.
It's going to give us another double foul restart.
Closing in on the final 10 laps from here at Toyota Speedway in Irwindale for the late model. Stay with us.